No.
Shop online at addicted.fishing.
Way to go, producer Clint. He's right out with it.
Yes. How's everybody doing? Welcome back. It's another Wednesday. What have you been doing all week?
Matter.
You've been salty all week, haven't you?
I haven't done actually anything the last 3 days.
Oh, you lucky dog. I've been fishing
I
hard.
I did a 12-day stint though on the salt, and then I took. Tides get a little big these last 3 days, and so like, I go home, boat gets gutted. I mean, new fluids everywhere, freaking lower units, upper units, waxing, recycling of gear, spare rods, reels, relining. I mean, absolutely gutting. Because I start tomorrow, and then I think the next time I stop's like Thanksgiving. So it's enjoyed it, but it's fishing time.
But you've been hanging out at the beach, so it's been nice.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, it was definitely
Vacation
nice.
status.
It's time though. It starts tomorrow.
Gosh, I go on a film streak tomorrow after this weekend.
Where are you headed? South, north, east,
the beach.
west?
I think we're gonna stick around home a little bit. We're gonna do some trout fishing. We're gonna bring you guys some trout fishing stuff. Do some camping, some catch and cook stuff, and then head down to the beach for a week or so. Do some jetty fishing and all some just everything everybody else out there is doing. So be sure to comment below throughout the night on some video ideas that you guys want to see over the next few weeks. That'll be coming out in the next month or so. So we're gonna be filming hard for the next couple of weeks straight.
I was gonna say,
clicker.
Sorry.
Well, we're gonna be fishing hard over the next few weeks, as Cameron is, but we're gonna have a camera instead.
Yep.
We'll probably even be out with Cameron, honestly. So
yeah, maybe. I did get Sean out last week and filmed a freaking awesome coho rodeo. Freaking awesome. So that should be out pretty soon. And then there's a lot of opportunity. Those loving the rock fishing's been great. Lingcod fishing's been great. I think actually tomorrow the weather's I couldn't have timed it any more perfect. Not that I know of any clue what the weather does, but it seems like tomorrow is going to be the first day of we're going to have a nice long few days down there where it's going to be pretty good. So
killer.
Yeah. As you guys know, tune in. Let us know where you're tuning in from tonight. We've got two very special guests in the house. I think I told you guys last week. Maybe if you've already told us where you're tuning in from, take a guess at who we got in studio tonight. You guys can probably guess because there's a lot of it sitting up here, but there always is a lot of it sitting up here. Let's just,
who's here?
Just what's out there. I'll let you guys guess while you're letting us tune in from. And well, this will really give it away because we'll start off with one of these awesome prize packs that they put together that includes some Brine and Bite, some Bait Bright, the concentrated bluing and brightener, some herring oil, and we've got some pure UV liquid in this first giveaway, you guys, because we're going to be talking about using all this stuff for what y'all are going to be doing in the next probably 2 months right now. That's fish killing season, damn it. So let us know where you're tuning in from. Take a guess of who is in studio tonight. Yep, Steve and Jason. Steve, Jason, Steve.
You gotta let it go.
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, everyone's already guessed. Everybody already knows.
You're not gonna get your UV. Cam's gonna keep it.
I'm going to keep all the extra UV. I bathe in UV every night. Just so.
Can't you tell?
Just so the fish will run towards me or away from me. I don't know. Whatever.
Ooh, Gaffney. Someone guessed Gaffney.
What now?
Gaffney.
No, Gaffney is actually out catching all your herring and all your bait right now. I guess I talked to him a little bit ago. I go, you coming down to the old buoy? And he's like, no, it's catching herring. Like
making real money, homeboy.
Yeah, he is on the grounds, making sure we got bait. I guess right now he's saying that there's a lot of orange label, a lot of red label. He's like, they're getting there on the greens, but he said a lot of red label for this year. So I already have a case bought, reserved, done. I'm not going to do what we did last year. Keep that in mind. You don't even fish herring. You don't even care.
I'm going to stay home and fish 360s. Pick up the scraps.
I'm talking for springers next year.
Oh, gotcha. Yep. Never goes bad.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the Upper River Sockeye closure? I don't really know, man. I don't understand where that closure was, Rich. I mean, I thought it always kind of closes this time of year anyways, or does it usually go through the month? You guys saw that Monday? No sockeye. Is that like, are they talking like Brewster?
I'm not sure where the line is.
Yeah. I don't know either. I don't know. Yeah, so that I can't really account too much to that, I can't really account to that. I've never gone over there and done those fisheries. So I don't really have much to say about it. other than I wish there was more fish. Oh, he said yes, Brewster.
Is this
Brewster.
like an emergency closure? Is that why there's
Probably a quota based? I'm
they
guessing.
smacked on them?
Yeah, I mean, because up there they have good counts. They've got
We
like
do
25
we
dams.
do have a few pictures that I just saw roll up here from that upper river. That was giant stringers of fish. So.
Yeah, there's guys stacking and filling some fish boxes too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't for probably lack of
But is there
catching.
summer Chinook going to close up there?
I don't think so.
No.
I would imagine it's probably the same thing. Oh, TJ said heat. Yeah, maybe there's a heat closure. Yeah, that's right.
I did hear.
Oh,
I had some clients
go
even
down.
message me asking me if the heat closures were going to mess with us at all. But luckily, we're in this lower echelon river. We have dam-fed rivers that we can escape some of that stuff. But you start getting above Bonneville, and almost every single river that dumps in becomes a sanctuary for those fish, which is very important for those of you out there that are cursing the state and all this for these sort of closures. As we've seen here in our local area over the last few weeks, these bubble areas, these thermal layers in the river, it's theoretically it's not fair. Like the fish have to come in there. There's thousands of fish pulling into these areas that cannot avoid pulling into these areas, and you get 200 boats in there smashing on them, and you can really deplete the resource quickly by focusing on fishing these areas. So we hate them for it, but that's the times we live in. We got to protect the fish when they need to be protected. So. And if that's the same up in Brewster or everywhere else, that's just the case this year. So luckily we have a big fall run coming, and you'll be able to go fish on them later.
That is one thing. Like even with some of these thermal areas, like outside of those thermal areas, though, you still can have productive fishing. When the fish are moving through, especially with the runs that we have forecasted this year. So, and hopefully it just doesn't last too long. So we will see. John Gagnon, when can I buy your product in BC?
I believe already.
We shipped to Canada.
We shipped to Canada. Sportsman's Warehouse in Canada has our products. All the Sink It series and twitching jigs and tail out twitchers and everything we have with Mustad, and as well as our Addicted store sent to Canada right now as well.
We'll mail to Canada, so.
Yep.
And then did you see the one before that?
Hopefully.
Yeah, when is the next Fishing Isn't Peaceful? It's coming. So it is, we're going to be doing a little more of those music video style-esque videos that we kind of started with and kind of got away from, but really need to get back into.
Marcus Gunn, hoping Jordan slips up on the next merch drop advice.
He screws up everything. So
everything. Do not give me the surprise.
Nobody is going to understand
I love
the context.
making people happy. So
nobody understands the context yet. But Jordan screws up everything. Nobody understands it, but yeah. So there is a merch drop, guys, coming July 25th, right after the Addicted Life episode airing.
Was it July 25th, right?
I think that's the Sunday.
I thought that.
It'll be right after. Was that when it's go live? Where's Marlon? Marlon is on a
He's being a good husband.
personal day off. So it is just us tonight and our special guests. So that's the way it is. No biggie. But you'll see more Marlon next week.
Marlon is being a good husband.
Yep. Let's see here. How about Baker Lake sockeye? I have no idea. Anybody been out rock fishing lately? Oh, yeah, fishy days. And it is not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all.
I went. There's not one picture.
Clint went, and let's talk about this. So Clint, if producer Clint is going to talk,
right.
if Clint's going to talk, I took Clint as a pity. Like, I just got to get this guy fishing.
As charity.
Jordan,
it was a write-off.
Everybody else in the boat. Now, I will say this. For rock fishing, it was a little slower day. Like, we weren't into a bunch of little rats. We were catching, like, just donkey rockfish. Like, they were all big. Like, the top 5 biggest ones I've caught this season all came on this day. But it just so happened that everybody else in the boat had caught them. Except for Clint. And Clint is like standing right there next to me. And I'm like watching him. And I'm all doing our thing. And I'm like, he'd lose it. And then like I'd watch his rod. And his rod would load up as he was jigging it. I'm like, every time you feel that, that's a fish. And he finally catches 2. And at the fish cleaning table, they were all doing it. I'm like, oh, you want any rock? Loading up our
get a
gas.
taco.
I just had Clint hop in with the group, kind of a last minute thing. And Clint's like, Can I get my 2 fish? Yeah, Clint, you can get your 2 damn fish.
Everyone else had like 2-gallon bags.
Yeah, everyone's walking away with coho and rock fishing. Can I have 2 fish? It was so
Clint.
so sad.
So Clint.
Sad. So sad. Anyways, let's pick a winner, Clint,
Joshua
for this first
Perkins,
giveaway.
Now that the state is open, when is the next batch going to be? Great question. I would probably imagine, if we're lucky, this is totally here. We haven't even talked about this, honestly, but maybe fall. Maybe in October.
It will
maybe
not be in August.
Yeah, no. Maybe a fall bash, maybe an early winter bash when everything is totally secured and people are comfortable, and we have Sportsman's Warehouse and some of the other retailers and fishermen that agree to it.
What have you guys heard on that? Maybe chomping at the bit just yet? Holding off? Or just
I know it'd be
just
huge.
nothing?
I bet we could get a 200, 300 person bash.
Oh, I think the
in
first
a heartbeat.
Oh,
yeah,
the first batch
no,
we do.
yeah, but we just have to clear it with all the retailers and stuff because it's more about them than us in that regards. But can't wait to get back out there and start having those bashes with you guys. Marcus Gunn.
Marcus Gunn, you win the first Procure prize pack of the evening. Salem, Oregon, taking your break from studying for the Oregon Bar to join in tonight. Well, there you go.
Heck yeah,
Marcus, and now you've got some awesome bait scent that can sit in your garage until you get to go fishing if you're studying for the Oregon Bar exam. So
orders
for when you're done.
Yep. Email orders at addicted.fishing. Let them know you won. Let them know what you won.
Yep.
And
you run
Include your address.
include your
Include
address.
your address.
Excuse me. Or else it's going to our house.
Yeah.
Going in the bucket. And don't worry, guys. We've got other prize packs to give away tonight, including
Marcus Gunn.
this
Woohoo.
next one.
Yeah, Marcus. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Got this next one here. And the next one's going to have some garlic bait sauce, some salmon slammer super gel, some bloody tuna super gel, and some great badass hand soap for you for when you use these. Which that's a really convenient kit for a little later on. Is it not? Did you put this one together, dude?
That hand clean, that's so big. Bomb.
Oh yeah. No, that's
That's so awesome.
no, that is very good. Have you guys ever fished off a jet ski? I can't say I have. Have you?
No, but it's been one of my retirement schemes.
Retirement
What
scheme.
does that mean?
I want to start I'm not saying it.
I'm not saying.
Guided jet ski fishing.
I want to build like a jet ski 4-wheeler for fishing. Like that's like literally built for fishing.
a jet ski 4-wheeler.
Like you know what I mean? Like a hunting 4-wheeler, but a jet ski
Oh,
for
yeah.
fishing. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
they make them.
No,
Sea-Doo
they're out
makes
there.
them. Sea-Doo makes
I'm
a
sure
fishing
somebody does,
specific
but
one.
like the one that's like totally set up for it, and I'm sure it's out there.
No,
But I've
it's-
always dreamed of having one.
Sea-Doo makes one. Like
Yeah.
it's like coolered framed
Yeah,
fishing.
framed with like
It's just it's new.
Looks like a Florida thing. Like,
Yeah, it looks coolish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, there's
I
a
want
dude
one.
that does your area in one. Where you were just talking, there's a dude that comes out, dude, and I'm not kidding you. He comes out in his little Sea-Doo, dropped anchor. Within 5 minutes, bang, bangs a fish, takes off, done.
Clint, maybe you should do that. Then maybe
I can't
you'll-
catch fish.
Maybe you'll have a hope to catch one.
Shut up.
Whatever you're doing right now ain't working.
Tim,
It ain't
Tim
working at
Ram,
all.
thanks for watching that episode, man. That was a lot of fun to make. If you guys are looking to go down and do some monster king fishing in Southern Oregon, get a hold of Steve. I think we're going to be heading down there in a couple days with him to go check out some of those fish. It's going to be a good year down there too. So, and if you guys haven't seen that video, we went down to Southern Oregon, traveled around, outran wildfires, which is very common for this year again, and caught some absolutely awesome fish. So,
Heck yeah. Trying to take my 95-year-old grandpa kokanee fishing up in the Cascades next weekend. Family boat doesn't have electronics. Any tips? Fish different depths, how you find them? I don't really know on that one. Yeah, but probably fish a little deeper right now. Summertime temperatures. That's all I can help you with. If you're going to our neck of the woods or my neck of the woods, I'd say probably fish 60 feet on downriggers and hope you don't hit a tree. Right, Clint?
Yep.
Yep.
Caught some trees.
Yep. Are we close to the fires? No, fortunately we're not, but we do. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be another one of those summers. That's all I can say to that.
it's only July.
A lot of mushroom picking, though, huh?
Yeah. Let's hope so.
Lots of morel hunting next
Yeah.
year.
Well, shall we dive right into it?
I think
We
so.
got all the greasy stuff out of the way. We're gonna introduce our guests, bring them on in here. They've been here before, but today
Yeah.
there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff on this counter.
Dude,
So,
there's a lot, and just kind of the timing of the year. We're going to touch on a few things for coming up on the up and coming seasons.
all right, I'm gonna step out, guys. Come on in, boys.
Let's see here. No, Clint actually Clint doesn't catch crap. Like, don't even try.
Terrible.
Don't even try. All right, guys, I got the masters of bait and scent in the Northwest. The Procure guys themselves.
Yeah.
Jason Hambley, Steve Lynch. How's it
Good to
going?
see ya.
Good. Glad to be here.
The world.
The
Sorry.
world.
Sorry.
Get it right.
That is my fault. That is the world. Yeah, so we got the masters of the bait and scent world in here tonight. We're gonna talk about some buoy tan. We got some herring, got some anchovies, got some products. Gonna walk through some of the stuff. You guys out there, I'm gonna be kind of, as we're going through some of these products and how we do it, I'm gonna jot down some of your guys' questions too. So if you guys have any good questions and it can involve, we got these guys, super valuable resource here tonight. You talk about their products, talk about curing eggs, talk about preparing and prepping baits, storing baits, long-term stuff, short-term stuff.
Okay.
Good sense. What Jason's secret cures are for out there fishing,
Yeah.
right? No,
You got it.
it's
It's right here.
He'll tell you. No, but not what he adds to it, though, right?
No, that's it.
Actually, it's probably pretty good stuff. Yeah. So let's talk here. What are you guys doing? What's new?
Just trying to keep our head above water. I mean, the orders are just crazy. I mean, we're just flooded with orders.
You guys are just like everybody else in the industry right now.
Fishing industry is nuts.
Fishing. So are we gonna have a shortage of this stuff?
Well, you can see by our bottle selection there that there's
There's only one of those.
there's one round bottle. There's still bottle shortages. There's still
Oh, I see what you're saying. So yeah, you got different shaped bottles here.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
you guys are just putting the goods in
We're
whatever
just-
you can.
Whatever we can find.
whatever we can find. It's insane right now.
So the problem is not the cures. The problem is the bottles.
The
Correct.
labeling, the containers. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So is there going to be a shortage for all these guys getting ready for the Buoy 10 Columbia openers August 1?
Not on our end.
We're
We're
looking
stocked and ready.
Stocked and ready. All the retailers got what they got, and
Well,
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, but we're getting what we can get.
yeah.
I mean, there's
No.
only so many hours in the day to pump. We can do about probably 5,000 2-ounce bottles a day out of the one room. And when you're getting orders for 12,000 a day, you're just going backwards. So
12,000.
on an average day, it seems like on the orders, if you break it apart, we're getting about 12,000 pieces per day.
All
Orders.
in.
Yeah, all in.
Not just of bait scent.
Not just.
But
a
still,
basic,
that's a
but
lot of
still.
bottles.
Oh yeah, lots.
Yes. So we have storage boxes we punched in all over our yard, and I bought a 2-year supply and it lasted 5 months.
Oh, boy.
So we have more on the water.
Well, that attests to two things. One, that it's crazy because of COVID and everyone's fishing now.
Yeah.
But two, obviously, the shit works.
Yes.
It definitely does.
Because, I mean, if people are buying that much, it's not because they bought it once, used it, and then didn't buy it again.
No, we got a long history of selling products that work. It's
Yeah.
That's
no
for sure.
question. Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, let's get right into it. Ocean fisheries. River fisheries. What should be on people's radar? You guys are going out there for like how long? I already see some of these great questions you guys have. We're going to start writing them down, but let's talk a little bit about, some of your, let's run through some of your brine and brights, and then you've also got the powdered
Okay.
brine and bite.
So same product. This is just dry powder. This is liquefy. But ideally, this is enough to do 6 to 8 trays of bait, right? And this is enough to do 10 dozen baits or 10 trays of bait.
So 10 dozen,
Correct.
6 dozen,
Correct. 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
Yes.
So if you're looking for the concentrate, go here. When you, what's the ratios for making this guy here?
So
And what's the advantage? Like, why does somebody even want to use any of this stuff to begin with?
Because he can mix this up with 2 quarts of water and then put that into 3 brine tubs. He can do a natural, a chartreuse, and a blue, all with just 1 container, versus buying 3 bottles, a natural chartreuse and blue. So, but there's directions in here, and I disagree with them. There's a small dose where it says take 2 scoops.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. You take this to 2 quarts of water. That way you're getting an equal mix because the salts
The
are
whole
heavy.
thing in 2 quarts.
Yes, sir. Take this up like an old Kool-Aid pitcher. Mix it with 2 quarts of water. And then what I will do is split it into 3 Tupperware containers and then do a tray or 2 trays of bait in each one of those Tupperware containers. I'll do the natural, the blue, and the chartreuse. And then each time I put another tray of bait in there, with a Sharpie, I put a slash on a piece of tape on the top of my Tupperware container.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I keep track of how many baits I'm running through it.
And how many baits do you think you can get through? So you
I'm
said
doing-
12 baits, so
yeah,
you do
I'll
like,
do
about
like
4
3
per container.
Yeah, I'll do like 3 packs per container and then dump it. But once, say you only ran 1.5 through at the end of the day, as long as you keep it cold, you can use it tomorrow, next week, next month, right? So the average guy has a bait refrigerator at home. Just put the Tupperware container in the bait refrigerator. Keep it cold.
I'm going to ask this question even though we just lost the TV, Clint.
That's what
Did
I'm
we
doing.
lose the connection? Are we good?
No, we're good.
Okay,
It's
sorry,
just-
to make sure everyone's still here.
Oh,
I've seen
you
this.
are back.
Yeah.
Sorry. No,
Okay.
the one in the front.
Okay, no, don't worry about it. Okay, so Guy Bryan's some herring. 'Cause I know this, I haven't seen this particular question yet, but I know it's coming. Guy Bryan's some herring, keeps it in his cooler all day, puts 3 trays of bait in there.
Yep.
Not going to go fishing until next weekend.
Yep.
What's he doing with that bait?
He should remove the bait from the brine, put it in a Ziploc freezer bag, and throw it in the freezer. Just roll it up, get as much air out.
So
as
take
you
it
can.
out of the brine.
Correct. But refrigerate
Okay.
the brine because you don't want the brine deteriorating the bait. In time, it will deteriorate it down. So remove it from the brine, throw it in the freezer. And it truly won't freeze being the salt content's super high.
Mhm.
But the night before he's going to fish again, he'll pull his bait from the freezer and remove his brine tub from the refrigerator or his bait fridge, wherever he's got it, keeping it cold, put his baits in it. And as they thaw, they reabsorb,
The
when they come
goodness.
out of the freezer, they're going to be shriveled and look really ugly.
Yeah.
But man, they will just come out beautiful.
They'll
And
come
you put
back
them
into
in
the
for
brine.
2 minutes, yes.
I've also noticed too that if the brine, sometimes baits that get a little more shriveled in the brine, stuff like that, you add them in the fresh water and let them sit about a minute, right?
If
and then
that,
they kind of rehydrate.
When you hook them up, by the time you're checking your roll, a lot of times they're rehydrated.
Yeah.
Guys call and say, it's all shriveled up. I said, just trust me. It'll
Just put it,
rehydrate.
let her work.
Yes.
Let her hunt, right? Put that bait in the water.
Another thing too is when you do add the water to this, try not to use tap water. The chlorine in the water can is not good. So either use distilled water or if you got a well water.
I always take jars from the river.
River water
like
is even
that
better.
day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you rather use water from the marina
Mm.
or water from
I'd
the?
rather probably
would-
go out there. There's lots of oil and
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the
that's
marina
true.
waters. Yes. But even Safeway, Fred Meyer's, whatever, the distilled water, you can buy gallons of that for 99 cents.
Yeah. Just the extra
That way you're
bottled
safe.
waters in the boat.
That's right.
Okay.
Perfect.
And the whole point of the brine, which we didn't really cover, is what it does is, especially on those larger tides, you get heavy currents. It helps firm up your baits so they stay on your hook longer. You don't get them blowing out on you, and also it's adds bite stimulants to it too. So there's a lot of positives to using it.
Bite stimulant. So you guys talk about these a lot, and then but one thing in particular that you guys have mentioned before on past life feeds, and I know we've got a bunch of new people in here watching tonight, but what bite stimulants like? I mean, want to touch on that and like
Sure.
where else they're at it? and
Sure.
all
I
that?
mean, we pretty much put bite stimulants in everything we make. Same with the UV, only because we feel it's a good product and it just makes our products better. But when they're pen raising these fish, they were stressed and they weren't feeding. So their chemists and scientists or whomever got together and found a compound of 4 of these different ingredients that just triggered them to feed. And then they actually sold us their recipe. Phil and I went to Canada. We went to Canada and saw it, and we were just in awe. They threw in about 15 or 16 different items, and they throw in brand X or whatever they're calling it. And they just went crazy for about 15 seconds. I mean, beating at the gravel, and then they slowly go off their own corners. So the only thing I found that the bite stimulant doesn't trigger or work for a smallmouth bass.
And they'll eat anything
Yeah,
anyways.
but it didn't. I mean, we didn't see anything new or crazy with
Yeah.
them. But sturgeon, I mean, salmon, steelhead, trout, kokanee, yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Crazy.
And you guys add your bite stimulants into egg cures,
Yes.
oils,
Yes.
scents,
Gels.
everything else like that. Too.
Correct.
But my clients today go, does adding stuff to your shrimp really help? And I'm like, well, every fish we caught today was the one I added the stuff to. So it's-
No, it definitely helps. But do you guys want to touch on like where sometimes like less is more too, and not?
Well, okay, a couple of things like the UV.
Mhm.
Okay, you could pour a whole bottle in there. It's not going to make it. It's only absorb 0.2%. Okay, it's not going to glow in the dark if you pour a whole bottle on it.
Radiating.
But what it does do is it pulls the light from the sky and transfers it down to the bait, and it just semi-illuminates it. So it's not like having a hallway light on, maybe a night light at the far end of the hallway, where it's still they can see it, but they can't make it all out. And then with the bite stimulus and the other sense, it just triggers, if they get a whiff of it, it just triggers them to feed. And no, it's not going to hurt you by putting too much on, but if you're drift fishing a stretch of the river and you load yours up at the top end, you may not get bit, but 5 guys down. As soon as yours hits the water, you guys are going to go, ooh, and set the hook. And, yeah.
Oh, there's like, no. There's like some fisheries that I participate in where like you'll be in a spot, there'll be like 3 or 4 boats in the spot and no one gets them, and then we all dunk eggs and hover eggs in, and you can see just like, well, there hasn't been anything for like 30 minutes, and all 4 boats, in a very small area. Like, so if you don't think that putting, casting scent and the right scent out there and the right bait stimulants out there can't make something happen, especially with salmon.
I've seen it time.
Oh yeah, this is Hover Master here. Rather than saying like you are missing the proverbial boat. Let's just say that.
And we look at other bite enhancers every year, but we've never changed that formula for like 27 years. It's just tried and proven, and it just works. I mean, I've probably got a half a dozen different bite stimulants and things that all kinds of claims of what it'll do. We haven't found it to be true.
Kind of come and go.
And scent is one of those things too, where some days it isn't the magic serum, but other days it sure the heck is. But I've never found where it hurts you. It never hurts to change it up and try different things.
Oh yeah, I always say don't put your eggs in one basket. We'll talk about a little like on the egg curing side of things here in just a few minutes. But
No pun intended.
What's that?
No pun intended.
Right. But shut up, Torton.
But the biggest mistake I see guys do, like whether it be lures or whatever, they don't clean their stuff at the end of the day. And they put maybe 3 different scents on it that day. And then they get out and they're doing something, an anise when they were using garlic. Clean your lures at the end of the day, start fresh.
Clean slate.
And I tell you what, that would be the biggest improvement that I can usually tell a guy. Just 30 seconds. I mean, just think with WD-40, like in a pint container or a quart container, half full. Throw your stuff in and just shake it up for 15, 20 seconds. Hit it with a wash down pump or your garden hose and let it dry. When it's dry, it's completely odorless.
WD-40 though.
Yes.
Will remove all that.
Yes. And that's a heavy duty cleaner. It used to be made with cod liver oil, was a hell of an attractant 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
But once the price of that went through the roof, they reformulated it. And it's no longer using cod liver oil. But I still got guys holding up their cans showing me. I just wave. Right? It's good.
So don't buy the WD-40. Get this stuff.
Well, you can buy both because WD-40.
He's like WD-40 circle.
No, we use it to clean our equipment. It breaks down the gel base. Without a lot of scrubbing, it's just quick and easy. And that way you're starting out fresh the next morning.
You think the scent gets deteriorated or like rancid at all?
Well, I know it will.
So I was gonna say, it's one of the questions. That next question I had is like, guys are asking, well, how long does like your scents and like ProCures, like bait oils and stuff last? And I want you to touch on that.
So the bait oils will go 3 to 5 years, right? And I just keep my scents in like a little cooler, just a bait cooler, no ice or anything in it, but closed up. That way, when you back your boat in the boat barn, even though it's 90 or 100, it's not that inside the cooler. But at the beginning of each season, I just shake it and smell it. And there'll be no doubt in your mind, if it's gone rancid, it's going to hit you right in the gut. No doubt.
You're gonna know.
You'll know, huh, Jason? He finally found one.
Two, you can also they'll lose scent where they don't smell like anything. That happens too.
And that's if you get it too hot. So the guys will leave it on the side rail of their boat on 90 or 110 degree days, sitting on the back side rail. Not good.
It's not going to last 3 years in the gun.
No, it is not. But, here again, we're kind of like the shampoos. I mean, so there's no one, you've got 7 or 10. But here again, I had some of my garage dated, and they're like 14, 15 years, and they're still smell good. So just smell them at the beginning of each year, and if they're not right, pitch them out.
Yeah, I've had some bottles that have been like stored back, and then like I had them for this season, but I took them out of the boat, switching seasons around, and then I forgot I could smell them. It's like, they still smell pretty well. Shaded, cool garage.
Sure. But, So we're projecting on the gels a 10 to 12 year shelf life.
On the gels.
Yes, and the super sauce, right? The bait sauce, which is a 4 ounce round bottle like this one here. Yeah. So all those will go the 10 to 12 year, and same with all of our 2 ounce or 8 ounce super gels.
Gotcha. Just a side cam. So when he's talking super gel, guys, He's got like, this is the price pack, but you can see it says Super Gel right on there. And then the bait sense. Or the bait sauce, excuse me.
Bait sauce, and then show them oil, because I know people that have grabbed oil and thought it was a gel.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, this one has the, so these ones will actually say bait oil on them. And
They're in
bait
different.
oil,
They're in different color boxes too
yeah.
at the store.
But they're the same size and the same shape. So like
Correct.
not all of them are the same. In the oil, well, it's just that it's an oil, works really good with like your eggs and your tuna mixes, putting on herring and sardines, marinating in that.
Anything real. If it's real,
okay.
use oil. If it's synthetic, which is a soft plastic, it's a lure, a spoon, a spinner, that's where you go with the gel.
That's easy enough.
So if it's real, go oil. If it's synthetic, and anyway,
your plugs, your lures, spinners.
The oils are what you want to add into your tuna if you're stuffing clamshell type lures and all that. So.
That too.
Yep.
Yeah. Plenty of that about ready to go down. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's get back to this bait here. So you've got some other products up here too. We want to talk about here, and we've got. I don't know why I didn't bring any small Tupperware stuff as far as brining. But one thing I like to do, I always brine in mason jars, but that's me.
Well, and that's nothing wrong with doing that. It keeps them head up, right? It's just kind of hard to get 3 trays in a mason jar.
Yeah. No, you can get like 1 thing of greens, maybe 2 anchovies, but that's about it.
Sure.
2 reds. Yeah.
A lot of times when you're down Astoria and you're burning through a lot of baits, a container like this isn't a bad idea.
The big container.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you're going through 4 to 6 flats a day.
Yes. And the main thing also that you didn't really touch on, so when you pull these out of the freezer, it's important you want to poke holes in these. It doesn't need 10,000, but just a few holes. That way, as it thaws, it relieves the pressure in here and it won't pull the daylights out of your head and pull the blood through the gills on them. Because these are vacuum packed, right? And then when they're frozen, so you just want to poke holes in the top of the tray. Yeah. Just even 10 minutes, just when you pull them out of the freezer, just a couple holes with a fork and you're golden.
Yeah, because if you let them defrost a little bit without, go ahead and go to the side cam again. Because this one, I just pulled these out of the fridge. You can kind of see, oops, a lot of light there. You guys can kind of see like down here on the side, you start to see the blood getting sucked out of them. What's going to happen with that is that if you don't poke that hole in there while it slowly defrosts, that blood's going to come out. It's going to stain your bait, make your bait a little more. It's not, honestly, I don't think it makes them as tough.
Correct.
For whatever reason, it just really does kind of screw them up a little bit.
And if you're plug cutting, no one will ever know it, right, for the most part. But here again with the brining, you can do it. I normally do mine after I'm through with supper the night before I'm going to fish. Get done with dinner, clean up the mess, then I go brine the baits. And it takes all of about 5 minutes, if that.
So you brine the night before, not the morning of?
I do it the night before. And then I'll load them in either my bait fridge or put them in a cooler and stick them in the boat so that way I don't drive off without them.
What about the guys that are buying the fresh bait in the mornings, like at the ports? Sure,
those are hard. Those are hard to cure. But that's where you can throw this in. Anything's better than nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So even if they've got a half hour by the time they get stuff rigged up and ready, that'll help. And just leave them in the brine throughout the day, and that'll help firm them up. So if they're getting 5 pounds or 3 pounds or whatever they can get, just put them in a large container, dump this in it, and then you can even add a half a cup of just a fine sea salt, right? And add it to it, and that will help speed it up as well.
In years like this too, when there's big bait shortages and good herring is hard to come by, it's a great idea to run a brine because you're going to get longer life out of your baits. Your baits are going to hold up better, and it's just you can freeze it at the end of the day and use it the next day or in a couple days or whatever. And
I like the protection. Even before I was even using, I'm talking like 15 years ago, we would always just at least heavily salt brine our water, even with the fresh bait, because it's like, oh, I left the tray out a little longer outside of the cooler, baiting up something, or you give yourself a layer of protection there that your bait's not going to go soft. Yeah. Which some days that. Let's be honest. Some days that fresh bait delivery is sometimes it's not what you want it to be.
Sure.
Right. So you want to have any opportunity that you can to toughen that up, and like you said, it might not be in the first half hour, but maybe a couple 2-3 hours down the road.
And there's nothing worse than having soft bait. You drop it down, it just blows out. You're done. Yeah. You just can't. You're not effectively fishing.
But some days you're done by between 9 and 11 with your fishing. Every fish you hook stuck, and So all you do with those is, if you're going to fish the next day, just leave them right in the brine tub.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So
Yeah.
you said like if you're gonna go wait a week, take them out of the brine,
Yeah,
freeze
if it's
them.
less than a
But
week,
how
leave 'em.
many days would you fish them in the brine?
So normally what I do, if I was going to jump on your boat, I would leave in the brine, but I would pour the majority of it back out. That one, I would leave a little and just keep them moist.
Mhm.
But in case these get knocked over, the lid's not sealed, I don't want to make a green, blue, and red mess in your boat. So
And you want to, if you're going to do that, you got to keep them really cool.
Yes.
The heat's your enemy, obviously, with any bait.
So we use those ice packs,
Mhm.
so it's not leaving a lot of water in. And we'll do ice packs on the bottom, and then put these in a smaller Tupperware container right on top of the ice packs, and then an ice pack on the very top, and it keeps them good and chill. So at the end of the day, all we're doing is removing the brine from it, rolling them up in a baggie. But we're fishing straight, so we're not throwing baits away. And we're there like 10 days straight.
Sure.
So we'll add to it and add another container, and just super simple. So we've gone to this method. It just makes it easy, right? If we've got half a tray of bait left of that, we'll add this and then just throw another 6 trays in it.
Okay. What about adding additional? So like you brine the bait the night before. I mean, are you guys, especially in some of these fisheries coming up, are you guys then getting creative with other scents, anise, garlics, bloody tuna oils? I mean, are you playing with that a lot, or just you kind of like brine's good enough?
No, we play with scents all the time.
Sure, but we won't. So we don't set them in the brine tub.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do that. Each person, if we got 4 rods out or 5 rods, each person has their own scent that morning. And we don't get excited on the first fish, but the second fish they touch, everybody's using that scent. And that's crazy. I mean, all of a sudden they'll want that shrimp, krill, whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody knows why, but if you put shrimp, krill on everybody's rod, it just put on the clearance for like 40 minutes.
Sometimes if you wanted to do something like that, though, your best bet is if you're going to use, maybe set a dozen aside in a plastic baggie and just use the pure anise, and put just like 4 drops in there.
No, you got to use half a bottle.
Yeah.
You remember that a few years ago?
Oh, yeah.
But he was
Holy
catching them. But you could smell his anise from about 2 miles away.
Yeah.
That's
A little bit goes a long way.
Steve appreciates that.
Yes, yeah, thank you. We do thank you.
Yeah.
But some of
But
the
two drops in a gallon bag.
Yeah,
Or
not a
4
lot.
drops.
Yeah.
4 drops. Much, yeah.
But some of the scents are pretty acidic, like the sardine. You don't want to load these up with sardine oil the night before because it'll deteriorate the baits. But injecting them or marinating, for a short period of time, you'll be fine.
Okay. So that's the morning of prep.
Sure. And that's what we'll do. Ideally, with the brine, we're leaving it naked, maybe put a little tuna powder in or krill powder in the brine. Other than that, we're not doctoring it up much, except the morning of fishing. We set everybody up with their own set.
Make it happen.
Yes.
Yep. Interesting. Any other tips? So we talked about bait scents. What about some of your powdered stuff? Are you guys going to be throwing any of your monster bite, krill powders, sodium sulfites, anything like that into your bait brines?
It's already in it.
Already in.
So yeah, I do not add anything to it.
Occasionally, I'll put a little more monster bite in, but very little
And then like I
on
said,
my end.
monster bite.
so yeah, like I said, the only thing that's not in it is the krill powder or the tuna powder. So we may add some of that to it as well.
Okay.
But ideally, then we're just injecting them, right? I just told the guys go crazy. We got plenty of set. And let them
I can only
inject it.
imagine.
It's just
12,000 bottles a day, I think is what it was. Yeah. Got plenty of scent.
It's nuts. But like I said, and the great thing is what worked yesterday isn't working today.
Oh,
I mean,
everyone's been there.
yeah. So that's why I start out, if he has like 6 people, everybody gets a different bottle. And I tell them, that's your scent to the second fish, or I swap them out, right?
Until you get bored and do another round of different
Well, that's
scents.
right.
Yeah.
If it's not working, we're seeing fish being caught. We just haven't dialed it in. But
Right.
there's no better feeling when you get that rod that goes down, you jack everybody up with that one set, and now you got a double. And
Yeah, you're not fishing with one rod. You're fishing with 4 rods now.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
it's a big difference.
Is there a difference between the liquid color versus the powder, like UV missing out of one, or are they exactly the same?
They are almost identical. And the thing with the powder, so if you went this and then added the dyes to it, you could, we're saying normally like on the chartreuse, that's one of the weakest dyes we have. So maybe a teaspoon of the badass powder dye. But
I will say on for brine wise, if you're going to use a liquid or a brine for your herring and you want them chartreuse, it takes a ton of the guesswork out just to buy the complete. Because the powder, it's finicky on how much chartreuse you add. So it's really much
You got to stick a
easier.
paper towel into it, pull it out, because the water's deceiving. So you'll test with a paper towel and hold up and say, "Is that right?" And
It'll look like there's a lot, but
Yeah.
there really isn't.
there really isn't.
Yeah.
So it's better. And, yeah, we've gone just this simple, right? Just
Well,
keep it
that's
simple.
why you make it.
Yes.
Versus the blue, right?
but the
You know, little
blue
blue goes a long
Is
way.
an eighth of a teaspoon. Well, yes, everybody's running around like a Smurf. Right?
Oh yeah, and the blue is the hardest dye to get out of
Yes.
anywhere because
Especially if the sun's
one
so
thing
tough.
I want to add too, just so you don't panic, is like any of these dyes, they break down in UV.
Yes.
Correct. So like
Right.
if you store your boat outside, like there's been times where I've had the blue and the chartreuse and especially the red dye all over the boat. It's like, oh my god! But then 2 days later, it's
It's gone.
Yes.
Yeah, so
It's-
it's real
it's
effective,
bizarre.
but it doesn't permanently stain your boat. We got a super chat from Dean. What is the best way to store your gels? Oils at home, and when should we throw it away? So, Dean, we did touch on this at the start of the live feed, but just
Sure. So I store all my gels and oils in just a bait cooler, no ice or anything, just closed up, and it can be right in the boat even. Right?
just closed out
just
from the
closed up.
elements.
Correct. And then at the beginning of each season, I shake the oils and smell them. With the gels, there's nothing to shake, but I just unscrew the cap. If it still smells fishy, you're golden. If it smells rancid, you'll know. No doubt in your mind, it'll hit you right in the gut. At that point, pitch
You will
it.
throw the bottle across the room and into your
Yes.
buddy's
It'll
car.
either be rancid or no smell at all,
Yeah.
and
So-
either way, you'll know.
Yes.
There you go.
Give it to your neighbor.
Give it to your neighbor. Try this stuff. This stuff is the bomb. I'll tell you what. Any other last tips? Because I know we want to talk about some egg curing, and we're getting into that season as well too.
Sure.
But is there any other tips you guys want to add on maybe doing some herring anchovies? Favorite scent? Maybe starting down at Buoy 10. Some tips to start with? Anything like that, or just
Well, in the morning, I'm sweet, right? I like the sweeter smells, like the Anna's Bloody Tuna, and the Anna's blend. Anything like with the krill and the shrimp, that's a mild. Come 11:30 or 12, we're going to salmon slammer and the garlic stuff.
or garlic stuff? Which salmon
Yeah.
slimer has a pretty heavy
Yeah,
garlic
it is
oil in it.
garlic based. Yes.
Too, that can be
Gotcha.
dictated by tides. If you got warmer water, garlic's good.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'll ask you this question just to like allude it to the people here though, but like water temperature sometimes definitely changes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and I've seen that. I mean, you're talking fisheries in the Columbia,
Yeah.
spring, summer, fall, upriver,
Yeah.
down at the coast. Oh yeah,
Changes scent. It changes what
temperature
scents are
more
affected.
temperature more than anything.
Yeah. Yep.
To where it's like some scents are like light switches.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
some.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could run garlic for the whole entire beginning of spring and never have a bite, and the Willamette or the Columbia hits that magical 70 mark or just under 70, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
just whack it
No,
up.
if there's one thing you guys heard tonight, don't sleep on that one.
Yeah.
There you go. So.
No.
But okay, well, let's see. I think we kind of hit a lot of other people's questions there. So we're going to talk about some egg stuff, because even though it is a little early in the season for eggs, you guys out there need to be kind of preparing for that.
Absolutely.
Unless you guys want to talk about, unless you guys want to
Yeah.
back up 2 seconds.
Yep.
Go
I'll
ahead.
back up here, sir.
No.
Go ahead and take your.
One other quick little product we got.
One thing we got, it's like a miter box. It's plug cutter here. I'll have Cameron hold it up, but it's got 3 different cut angles, and there's a small, medium, and a large, and basically, depending on the cut angle and the hook placement, you're going to get a faster spin or a slower spin. What you want to avoid is a lot of tail slap, where you're getting those wide sweeping tail slaps in your herring.
So something that's going like this, you don't want, as
Right.
opposed to something that's
tighter, which with this year, we got a lot of small herring and a lot of smaller baits.
Mhm.
It's a little easier to get a good tight spin out of them. The smaller bait you go, they're easier to spin.
And so this is a new product.
It's about a year old. But
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's a great plug cutting tool. The reason you use these, you'll see guys that'll hand cut them, but the reason you use these is it gives you a good consistent cut, and as long as your hook placement is there and you find a good roll on that herring that's
You
effective,
get it every time.
you'll get it every time.
I'll even tell you, I've been a hand cutter. Like, I don't know, I've been dyed in the wool hand cutter.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, like, I can promise you that not all my baits spin the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And that
and-
fixes that.
And it doesn't always matter, but sometimes it does matter.
Sure.
Oh yeah, you want to make sure that too. Like, you only got 2 dozen baits or something like that. Like you're a
Yeah.
little light on bait. Every bait that you want to put out your boat, you want it to be fishing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
First off, and you want it to last because a
Yeah.
lot of times if you get those larger swooping baits, you're pulling on them a little harder. They're not going to last near as long in the
Sure.
water, especially in some of the heavy tides, heavy currents of the river.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no, plug cutters definitely cool.
And the
Do we need
plastic
to-
ones will wear out on you if you're making enough cuts.
Mm-hmm.
You will groove these, and then this has the coating on the bottom, so you will not dull your knife, right? So we've gone the extra money and riveted a piece on here to protect your knife. And like I said, you'll never wear these grooves out.
Yeah,
So-
no, this thing looks extremely well made. I saw even someone make that comment, and that's and then if you also have got some, light, medium, and I don't know, large, medium, small
Yep.
spin.
Yes,
Oh, for small baits.
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
So on the sides here, guys, yeah, because that makes a lot more sense because your larger baits, you're not going to have to put much angle because you got more surface area when you cut them. But you guys can see right there, it's got a large, medium, and small size grooving there for you guys because on that small bait, you're going to have to put a lot more angle in it. That surface area
Further away.
is smaller. So when it's dragging through the water, it's going to need a little more angle to make that sucker go. But yeah, that's pretty creative there.
Did you guys bring any of your books, the plug cutting books or whatever?
No, we
Oh,
got some
yeah.
at the shop, but we didn't bring any.
Talk about that real quick
I
for the
was
guys
just
that
saying.
want to dive into
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
If you're not Cameron Black, buy that book.
No, if
I've read that book. What are you talking about? I read that book.
the owner of Procure several years ago now, he put out a book. It's on plug cutting and rigging herring, whole herring, or plug cut, and it can help a beginner through a lot of that. There's also countless things on the internet about it. I'm sure you guys have put out videos. But
And he's got a DVD on the book as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they can.
No, that book is awesome if you're new.
oh yeah.
Like I learned where the hook comes out the top. That changed my bait.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the
it's a pivot
biggest
point.
thing where the biggest mistake people make is they think that the deeper in the herring they go, the more that herring's going to stay on there. And what happens is they gouge that hook way in there and then they pierce it through, and it causes that to hinge, and that's where you get the worst tail slaps because your hook's too deep. So that's a big thing. That's a big thing to remember. Don't sink your hooks too deep into the fish cavity.
Put the pivot point like too far back,
Yeah.
and then allows the front to get all wonky, which then makes the tail
Yep.
get all wonky.
I've seen this question twice here. Truthfully, what's better, cut plugging your bait or not cutting them at all, running a rogue rig setup, or running with a helmet? Are you guys cut bait or whole bait?
Well,
guys?
helmet, you're going to last a lot. You're going to have your baits on the longest.
Yeah.
Whole herring's going to stay on better than plug cut.
But there's something you said about plug cut, though.
Yeah.
I see
I like
Steve
the
wanting to
plug-
say that so
Yeah.
bad. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you guys all run that.
It's all personal preference. Whatever one you can make spin the best, and the one if you feel confident in it, use it. That's the biggest thing. If you throw out a bait you don't feel confident in, you're probably not going to catch
Yeah,
fish.
switch the bait.
That's
If it's not rolling just right, after you make 2 attempts to change the hooks, switch your bait.
There's nothing worse than trolling a mile down at Astoria and having crap baits on and not catching fish. That's in the middle of a huge bite.
Right, in the middle of a target-rich environment, and then what's going on?
Yep.
What's going on? Okay. Well, I don't know if anybody really wanted to see the demonstration. Then I don't have to get our hands dirty, I guess.
No, I don't think
Kind
so.
of move on. We've got plenty of videos,
I
guys,
think
on
Cameron,
the
you should do
channel.
it. I think
We
people
got
are
plenty of
asking.
videos on the channel.
We got a lot
on
of questions
plug
from
cutting
people that
bait.
want to see you cut bait.
No, I've not seen that. And honestly, I would just put it in there and then use the little miter and cut it. So
It's pretty self-explanatory.
yeah, if you want to see that, buy the damn cutter. There you go. There you go. Yes, Dean, thank you again for the super chat. Now, let's talk a little bit about all these guys gonna be down there catching fish with your damn brine and bite.
Yep.
Now what? Because we're all gonna be egg fishermen in about 2.5 months. You know,
That's right.
some sooner than later.
Yeah.
Like,
beginning of
honestly,
September.
some guys are gonna be egg fishing in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. When it opens, it's up in the gorge. There's all those summer Chinook are sitting at those mouths of those tributaries, and as long as you're outside of that bubble, you're golden.
Yes, sir. So, with that said, where do we want to start? Guy catches a fish, then what? He knows it's a hen. Without looking at it. Ask the locals what bait. Okay, we got another super chat real quick. A huge lesson we learned for bait is ask the locals. Right bait, wrong size and shape can mess it all up. That's true if they'll share it with you. Sometimes it's better just to be the local in that situation, right? But yeah, no, definitely, never hurts to ask. Sometimes there's a lot of good, friendly fishermen out there that will help you out too. Yeah. So I caught a hen. caught a big old fatty upriver bright. I could tell it's a hen, female, big belly on her. It's gonna have some eggs in it. Now what?
Bleed it.
Bleed it.
First thing is bleed it.
Bonk it or bleed it?
Bleed it and then bonk it.
Bleed it, then bonk it. That's
Yeah.
kind of mean. No, I'm kidding. But bleed it. The importance. How do you bleed your fish?
Well, there's a million ways to do it.
And
but
are you a bucket guy or fish box guy?
I just do it in the fish box.
Okay, good man.
Yeah.
Bucket shit is just
That's a lot
another
to deal
step.
with.
There is a lot of deal. They got deck space. You got other fish to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a fish box guy. Marlon's a bucket guy.
Yeah.
A lot of guys. Nick's a bucket guy. I'm like, get it in the fish box and get it out of my hair.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But
One or
do
two gills.
Do you think
It
difference?
is a safer option to do that. But if they're still kicking a little bit, they bleed out better. That's the other thing.
yeah. Usually what I try not to have people do is bonk and then picture. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, if bonk it, bleed it, then get your picture and you go
Right.
throw them on the ice.
Yeah.
Right.
But bonk it and bleed it. Super
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Super important.
Yeah, get as much of the blood out as you can. Then once you carve them open, you get the eggs out. Try to retain as much of that membrane as you can. So reach up in there, cut around it if you need to,
Just rip 'em
or
out.
reach way ahead of it and just try to get as much of that membrane out as you can. Because the more of that you take off, you're losing what kind of keeps out all those eggs intact.
Yeah, that membrane protects them and,
Yep.
and gives you a little more of a chance at getting a good cured quality product when
Yep.
you're done.
Yep.
Then what? Storage?
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you're not curing, well, obviously you're probably not curing them at that very moment. But if you are, the best thing to do is put them in a Ziploc bag and keep them in your cooler. Don't put them directly on the ice because it will screw up the eggs. If you can, just keep them on on top of a piece of cardboard or in a Tupperware container or something above the ice, and just keep them cool.
So not buried in the ice.
Right.
And what's going on there?
It gets them too cold and it gels up, right? And they just won't adapt to the cure. They won't absorb the cure well.
Yeah.
So even taking, scraps, any trash, pieces of like a 6-pack or a short case container, whatever, just a little thin cardboard, cutting up, putting that on the ice, and then laying your eggs while they're in the baggie on top of that. Then you can go home, right? Dab up any extra blood that may be in it, and then start the cure process.
Yeah, so you just you don't want those eggs, just some kind of insulating,
Correct.
Yeah.
something there to just protect them.
Yeah, because they'll start to harden and they'll almost gelatinize, and they don't work quite the same.
They don't take the cure. Okay. So you've killed a fish, throw them in the bag, protected it, threw it in the cooler, brought it home.
Yep.
You
Huh?
rinse them, you spray them down.
No,
good question.
try to avoid that if you can. Just try to keep them clean. Don't rinse them off. Yeah, again, back at the chlorine thing, you just try to avoid putting chlorine on them, or even river water for that matter, because it just.
What if I open a fish and it's just like really bloody, and sometimes you get those ones, like I bonked it real fast and didn't have time to throw them in the bleeder box or whatever, and
Just wipe them off with a paper towel.
just paper towel.
Yeah.
Don't give them any freshwater rinse.
Yeah. It's not the best idea.
Sorry,
No, good
I've
question.
seen people do that. That's why I wanted to ask. I'm
You
not-
can, I mean, people
I
do.
don't.
People
I'm just-
do, but I'm telling you, all these little things make a big
That's
difference.
why I'm
That's yeah.
Okay.
So wipe them off with a paper towel. Take some of that and just get as much of the larger chunks of blood off as you can. And if you have a little bit of blood in the veins, it's no big deal. But just try to get them as best you can.
What do you think a real proper temperature to cure at is? 'Cause I've heard people say leave them at room temperature. Me, when I cure my stuff, clean them off, get them ready. I don't even scissor them or cut them open to butterfly. I just break the skin apart with my
Right.
hands, which I feel like is almost better. I
Yeah.
don't know. You guys might have a different opinion. Season them up, cure them up, roll them up in a Ziploc, and I stick them in the fridge.
Yeah.
And about 3-4 days later, they're perfect.
Right.
But I've heard other people leave them out at room temperature, but I guess it kind of depends on what room temperature is.
And that
But-
depends
Sure.
on the cure you're using too.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So what's common though? What do you think is a good temperature if it's 55 degrees at night? Would you leave those sitting out in the garage?
Definitely.
Or would you still put that in the garage
No.
or in the fridge?
Nope, I'd leave them out.
Okay.
Yeah. What you want to avoid is if like these days, this time of year, you're getting in the mid
Not
80s
let
during the day.
things go bad and
Yeah.
75 degrees in the garage on accident. Or
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the kitchen or even,
Yeah. Like right now, the weather outside, it's 85 degrees in the daytime, and your garage is getting hotter than heck. Well, what happens is you leave those out in there. They feel fine in the morning when you go, and you come home from work, and the
87
eggs that
degrees.
have been at the top are going to be, you'll feel them, they're going to be hard as a rock. And even sometimes, depending on how long they've been in there, they even turn to almost a goopy,
Mush.
almost, I don't even know how to explain it. The consistency just goes to crap. So you want to avoid too hot.
You're tying them onto your hook.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a scent added to your ball of yarn or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like curing eggs in the summertime because it is a lot more to deal with. If you got them in the winter, during winter steelhead time is ideal because your garage temperature is just perfect and they cure and set up, everything just sets up right.
Right.
This time of year you gotta work with the fridge and that can be a pain because it's messy.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
My fridge is always messy.
Yeah, you have a bait fridge for a reason, right? Yeah. Oh, my wife would kill me. Yeah. Okay, so you bring home. You're gonna do some curing. So we've got different cures. You guys got your red hot double stuff. So your standard pro cure.
Yeah.
You've got fuse, wizard cure, last supper, tuna. Well, tuna red hot.
And same as that tuna is like the rest of the Procure cures, but then we've added tuna powder to it.
Let's just touch on some of the processes because Jason told me something a couple of years ago and it really kind of changed the way I was curing with the fuse cure.
Yeah.
And one thing was just to leave whatever you're curing, would leave it open.
Yeah.
Like I would do a lot of like jar method stuff where I would cure the eggs in the jar and I'd still get a good quality product. I'd get a good firm egg out of it, but it did seem like that when I started doing like open air curing with like the fuse, like that really helped.
Oh yeah,
that, especially with that particular cure and that process.
Yep.
So let's run through. Let's just start with like some of your first pro cures, and this is like the red hot double stuff, and then maybe touch about like how your curing process would work with that, and then if you would change anything, and then we'll go through some of these other ones as well, and then we'll talk about. I've seen a bunch of people asking about additives and scents and stuff like that. We'll kind of get there.
All right. The red hot double stuff was the original. This one it's very easy cured. You don't have to use much of it. This one, just do a light dusting on the top and a light dusting on the bottom. Roll it around, let it sit in there for 20 minutes or so. Take it out of that juice, and then you can, depending on your temperature, lay it out on something to dry. This you can lay it out or put it in your fridge, and overnight you're going to be darn close. And then flip it over, whatever you need to do to get it to dry evenly. Let it sit in there for a few more hours until you're there, and then package it up. It's very simple.
When you're talking about, I think you use a good analogy for this as far as like, what is it, like 2 or 3 times more than you would like salt a steak with or something like that.
Yeah.
One thing, you used to add a lot of cure to it, but one thing, when you talk about waiting that 20 minutes before, like once you salt or once you sprinkle the cure on there, it does seem like when you come out, like you don't think there's that much on there.
Yeah.
But there is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And once it expands and that cure starts soaking in the egg and the dye starts moving through those eggs, you'll like, oh, this is actually going. But when you first put it on, there's definitely
you see pink spots of where the eggs aren't colored, and you're just thinking, oh God, I got to keep pouring it on there.
Yeah,
I have to get it all red. And what happens is then you end up with just rock hard.
You end up with a really red bait.
Yeah, and overly red. You waste it. You're just wasting product. So
what about mixing them?
You can.
It's a lot of that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt
I
at all.
more mix them for color.
Yeah.
I'll use different cures, but then use mainly red hot to get that nice red cherry color.
Yeah.
The
I'll do that too. Is with the fuse blend, I'll add a little bit of pink or a little bit of red dye. I do that all the time because the color on them isn't like the most brilliant, pretty color. They're almost a dull color. The cure and the scent is what you're after. If you want to change up the color, that's where you buy the dyes and tweak it a little bit if you want.
Yeah. But the red hot's pretty red.
Yeah. It pops.
The red hot's pretty. But you guys also make a natural, a steely pink, Tillamook red, or Tillamook orange, is it? Or flame orange?
Flame orange.
Flame orange. Tillamook orange. Yeah. Tillamook red, which is more of a subtle red too. So lots of different
and fluorescent orange and
colors and stuff to play with. What about so let's talk about the fuse cure. Like why in the world do you got the best cure in the world here? Why do you have a fuse cure, and why do you have a wizard cure as well?
Yeah, you want to change it up all the time. With the fuse, this is again a different curing process. With this, like I said, you pretty much it's darn near ready the next day. This one, what you'll do, it doesn't quite. It takes a little more cure, and it not a lot, but a little heavier dusting on both sides. Roll it up, roll it around in it, get it milking, and what it'll do is it'll just keep curing. And what it does is it draws out all that moisture out of the egg, and then it'll put it back in. So what you want to do is when you sprinkle this on there, just let it sit in there and roll it around occasionally, and just keep rolling it around.
You're talking over like an 8-hour period.
Over an 8-hour period, about every 2 to 3 hours, if you can do it. That's ideal.
Because that's enough. There's enough curing here to do approximately 20 pounds of eggs.
20 pounds.
20 pounds. Yes.
A ton of box of eggs.
Now with the Last Supper, that's going to do 7 to 10 pounds of eggs.
Yeah.
So this is twice as potent as the Last Supper, ingredient-wise.
Gotcha.
So if you do, you roll them 8 hours, then what?
So once you
or
roll
jar?
around, what you want to do is about overnight after the first night is what you want to do is drain. If you have a lot of excess juice, drain that off.
Mm-hmm.
Then let them sit in there and spread them out. Try not to heap your eggs all in one pile. Try to spread them out where they're getting even airflow. And then I'll let them sit another night, because a lot of times if it's too hot, I'll put them in the fridge. Yeah. If it's not too hot, then I'll leave them out. But you want to roll them around, because even in the fridge, with the way the fan works in there, it dries them out on the top. So you got to move
one
them
thing
around.
I was going to touch on that is like when I put them in the fridge and do that, I usually put like a paper towel just over the top of them.
Yeah.
Just enough to keep like maybe the blowing air layer off of them, but at least something.
Yeah, because it dries your eggs out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So roll them around, get them nice and even. The evener dry you can get, the better. And even if they're even on the hard side, that's fine. If they feel almost too verging overdone, that's fine, because once you freeze them and take them back out, they're gonna moisten back up. So
a little more tedious.
Yeah,
process.
this if you want to do them right, your best bet is it's going to take you probably 3 days. Is in all reality, you're going to get the best results, because too you'll notice if you smell the eggs when you first cure them, and then after 3 days if you smell them, they have a different smell, and on that third day they for some reason that's the smell they like. So when you do it, you'll see. It's
good advice.
Old stank.
I don't know what it is. The 3-day-old
really
stank.
Good advice. Really, really good advice.
Well, like Cameron says, if you have a guy that needs his eggs the next day, you got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
That's for the ones that want to steal their eggs from clients.
Exactly.
But
Anyways.
you use a liquid egg here
Yeah.
and fish them
Oh
the
yeah.
next day.
Let's talk about we got this guy right here. So we could really talk about
Simplifying it.
even simplifying it even more.
So that's 6 to 8 hours. Just shake it up well. Put your eggs in quarter pint containers and just pour this over the eggs till they start to float off the bottom. And then you can either put them in the refrigerator, depending on what your room temperature is, right? If it's 70s, put them in the refrigerator. If it's below 70, you can leave them out. And 6 to 8 hours. And then at the end of your 8 hours, you can pour them through a colander, capture the excess juice, and then the eggs just, lay them out with light fan blowing on. As soon as you get them dry and tacky, you can put them up and fish them the next day.
And if they're good full winter steelhead eggs or coho eggs, nice good sized berries, if you put them in a quart jar and you fill that quart jar up with the amount of eggs you want, you dump this in there just to cover them. A lot of times, once you go out there the next night, almost all that juice will be gone, and you'll just have beautiful looking eggs sitting in there.
Yep.
They'll just take it all. So like you're talking with the larger
nice sized berries, it'll absorb all that juice. You won't have any juice left. And that's the easiest.
It is so weird how
It's a big
eggs
deal.
will like leach out and then reabsorb
Yeah.
and then turn plump, and
Yeah.
sometimes they look kind of. It's bizarre, but
Yeah,
that's a good tip.
It is. If you put them in the fridge and just leave them out like that, you'll have none left, and they just look beautiful.
So for the guy that's got to go to work the next day,
You use that.
done.
Put it away.
And they work. So
And they catch fish.
I say if you've ever got eggs with the hope of curing them and then you've let them go bad in your fridge or never got to it, buy a bottle of that, keep it in your boat, and just do it as soon as you catch them.
That's a good way to go.
Because
That's great advice from someone who never catches a fish.
But oh my!
That's a really good advice from.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I'm
I'm not, but I'm kidding. But I'm not.
And the only thing
I
we would
still
add
hate
to
you.
that is the sodium sulfite. If we're going further up, like hover fishing, we will add sodium sulfite to our eggs. Just the morning that we're going to fish them. Yes, sir.
We also have them in these bigger containers too.
Nope. Yeah.
That's the metabisulfite.
So that's 3 times hotter than sodium sulfite. So you can really screw them up if you put too much on. So I myself, I just use the sodium sulfite. Because my buddy will put way too much on.
A little bit goes a long way.
A little bit goes along.
And when you're
Yeah,
using
that's
it, when you're
definitely
using
true.
it that day of, it's not so critical. It's not going to turn them rock hard immediately.
Yeah.
If you're just sprinkling them on and letting them sit a few minutes and then dropping it. But if you're curing with it, a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, like essentially like pre-preservation of
Yeah.
the egg.
That's one thing I always like really try to talk about is like, when I do my eggs up, like I do my eggs just to get them to the point where they're colored and cured, and then where I can get to them to a point where I can store them, I can freeze them,
right.
and store them, because when you take them out, then you've got this whole lineup of all these other products to put in there, whether it be Monster Bite, Curl Powders. Well, actually, you do a little curing with the Curl Powder, but even then, even this stuff I don't, because I'll put it in the night before and mix and roll. But with Slamolas and metabosulfites and everything else out there,
All kinds of stuff to add to them.
yeah.
And every day's different. A lot of those things can make a big difference.
I'll tell you what, they can. When would you add? So, you talked real fast about adding more sodium sulfite to the Red Hot. So, like,
Correct.
what kind of level would you say this is? Is this similar, almost exactly what the Pro Cure?
There's more sulfite in this.
There's
There's-
more sulfite in this one, a little less in this one.
Correct. I would put 2 ounces in that container. If I was going to cure my eggs and fish them the next day, I would put 2 ounces in that before
2
I start.
ounces
Of sodium sulfite.
How much is one of these bottles?
4 ounces.
4 ounces. So you
Half
put
of that
half of that bottle
Yep.
in there to heat them up for
That's
an
right.
egg,
Yeah.
for a fish further up a river.
Correct.
A little later on in the season.
Yep.
One that's been in freshwater longer.
That's right. And man, the smoke trail that puts out with that is just crazy.
So half a bottle of this guy, or just go
Fine.
powder cure.
Yeah.
What Clint talked about too earlier, as far as keeping a cure in your boat, keeping being prepared. Because one thing I want to talk about too, and I've seen this a lot with clients over the years. I always ask them, "Oh, you want your fish, or you want your eggs?" Excuse me, you want your fish. You want your eggs? Well, of course, sometimes they do, and I always want to ask. I'm not going to throw them out. So, do you want your eggs? Oh yeah, I want them. Okay, what are you going to do with them? What are you camping the next 4 days and then planning on going home where your egg cure's at and curing them? Or are you going to cure them in the next 12 hours? Are you going to wait for your brother to come by next weekend? Or are you going to throw them in the freezer?
Right.
Like having an idea of what that process should be like from the day you caught that fish is super important, because a lot of times if you think you're just going to run out to the store on August 22nd, you're up to Bob's and buy a bottle of this, you're probably shit out of luck.
Yeah, you're mistaken.
You're wrong. So you're not going to have this egg cure, and you're not going to have the products that or whatever cure that you want to cure them into. So I think it's real important to have that stuff pre-season,
Plan
Sure.
ahead.
especially this year.
Yeah.
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 Keep touching on that.
The stores, you can't bank on anything right now. So it's preparation has never been so important. Yeah.
I'm just amazed my comments on stuff now.
What?
What's the next one?
About the boat?
I have
Let's give it a minute. What is sodium nitrate for? So you sell a sodium sulfite, you sell a sodium metabosulfite, and you sell a sodium nitrate.
It's an
Trite.
It's an anti-mold inhibitor. So if guys want to build their own cure, so that's they don't grow hair, right? So the eggs won't mold up and grow hair. So you need 2 things. You need the sodium sulfite, and that's the anti-mold inhibitor. It's a color lock, so they won't get darker as they get older, and just a scent salmon-like. But the nitrate, there's really no smell to it. But again, it's just another anti-mold inhibitor.
Yeah, nitrite's what they put on your, some of your preserved lettuces, like
Sure,
on
yeah.
sandwiches.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's made in food products for us
Yes.
Correct.
across the board. I think they even inject steaks and stuff with it too.
Yeah.
So it's anyways, it's a good question.
And we are not food grade. Once it lands on our dock, it's no longer considered.
You don't want to eat anything that comes out of our
Correct.
factory.
I've been to your plant. I agree.
But
It's
some
all-
days-
when they say they use all natural bait, you walk through there and it's like, oh, there's a toad of freaking mudhaden. Oh, there's some freaking mackerel.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some shad or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Are these products biodegradable? I guess in a sense,
Yes.
they would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, I saw another good question. Oh, longevity. So let's talk about eggs. Now, caught a bunch of fish, stored a bunch of eggs, froze them. How long? How long are they going to last?
Depends on the container.
Very true.
If you have a good airtight glass container, and they're stored correctly, even after a couple years, you might start to see a little bit of freezer burn on top. But who cares? They still catch fish.
So like these ones right here, you wouldn't care at all.
Nope.
2 years.
Nope.
Yeah, 2 years. I'll show
That's
you.
exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, I know. Go side cam here, guys. Out of the
Guys.
freezer there. Okay, Clint. Whatever you are.
Hold it up.
There you
There
go.
you go.
I got the side cam down. You guys can see the freezer burning on there. Just on top, some of those eggs are a little more puffy white versus the other ones down below. I've had this jar for 2 years, and I just took it out of my freezer today because I wanted to kind of like demonstrate. It's still kind of frozen. I wasn't going to try to take them out.
But I've cut the freezer burn part off, stuck them on a hook, put them down, caught fish many times.
Put them to work.
Yeah.
Did you put
So
a
a couple
little
years.
vacuum on that or no?
Yeah, what do you guys
Adding
think?
the little borax to the top, cut out some of the air.
That can help.
Yeah.
Is it worth doing? Is it worth wasting borax? Or
It depends on how many eggs you go through.
Yeah. And the one thing you don't want to do is put a piece of wax paper, light it, screw the cap on. Because that just put a smoke smell through all of your
I've
eggs.
never
I've
understood
never
that.
understood that.
Old guys
Oh,
do
they're
it.
doing it to
I know.
remove the
Catch
oxygen.
fish.
And I
And
bet
feel
those
it won't
first
freeze
layers
apart.
of eggs don't do as well as the bottom ones. Yeah, I've never understood that. You're injecting
Usually I'll put the borax on if I'm like curing up eggs in the fall and I know I'm not using them until next spring.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not
Because
using
that-
them in the winter.
That will
I'm not
help
using-
avoid to avoid that issue.
gives them like a
But
shell.
that saves you what? 4 baits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
theoretically.
That's all I need.
Yeah, as I say, well, if you're a guy who's only going to put 2 or 3 quarts up and you got it, yeah, I'd throw it on there for sure.
We go through a lot of eggs a year, so I mean it's.
Yeah.
I usually don't monkey with it too much. I just jar them up and go.
Yeah, so I mean, so even though it'll hold for a couple, 2-3 years, I just had a client come over just 2 days ago and take all my store of eggs, because he's going to go out and he fishes the small rivers all the time. I'm like, yeah, go take all those because if you have the opportunity, you might as well re-up that
Sure.
stock.
Right.
Keep, fresh is best.
Fresh
but-
is best, but I've took eggs out of the freezer that were 7 years old.
Oh yeah,
and
you're
caught
like,
fish.
don't even, can't even know. Like, what did I write on the label?
Yeah.
Throw it down there. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. Every day, if they're on, they're on.
If you took the steps to get it to the freezer and you kept it quality in that
Yeah.
respect, it's going to be a good egg.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very good.
Yep.
Let's see here. Also, so now let's talk about when are you going to add your oils? So you have oils, you have gels. You're not going to do gels because it's natural bait.
Correct.
So more of an oils in your sense is all that. Are you fishing like when you were talking about adding the scent to each of the baits, like each of your herring when you're trolling or anchovies when you're trolling?
Yeah.
Are you doing the same thing egg fishing?
Pretty much. So if we're egg fishing or hover fishing, everybody has their own set at their feet. Or I put a little bit in a deli cup if they want to just dip their eggs into it. That's quick and easy. They're not fiddle farting around for 20 minutes. And here again, first fish, we don't get excited about. Second fish of that scent, everybody goes to it.
So being diversified with the oils, but after the fact, definitely not putting the stuff in your eggs to
No.
cure.
Correct. Yeah. And
You were
I
talked
know.
about earlier, like some of the sardine oils and some of the other stuff will actually break down.
Yeah,
and can
it's
actually
acidic.
They will.
away.
They will these too. I'm sure most of you guys have tried it before, where you've added scent to it, and you'll probably notice, especially if it sits in your fridge for a few days, it just gets mushy and goopy and nasty. That's because those oils are breaking down your eggs.
Night before.
Yeah.
I don't even. I do them as I go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I always do mine in the morning, but that's just out of necessity because I don't feel like doing anything.
Well, yeah, as you know, you got 6
Yeah.
guys in your boat. We don't want to cut up 6 quarts or whatever. So at each person's seat, we'll go through and just cut up a handful of baits. And I give them a little deli cup for the oil and explain how to do it. And so we're not pre-setting. The only thing we might pre-set is the tuna powder or the krill powder.
Tuna powder, krill powders.
Yes.
They're not as abrasive, I guess.
Correct.
to
And everything will eat it.
The krill is actually. I would even say the krill might even be a little stronger smelling
Mhm.
to us, but it doesn't. It seems like it always never hurts to add it. So
Fish like krill.
yeah,
Yes.
Fish like
Yeah.
krill. Gotcha. Anise oil, same thing. 2 drops
Yeah.
a jar. Would you
Yeah.
even play with that?
I
or would
wouldn't.
you rather-
I wouldn't add it to the jar. I'd just add it as I go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Because you're dedicating that whole entire batch of bait to that 1 cent. And if that 1 cent ain't working, you're out to lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So,
UV liquids. What about that stuff? Are you adding that to eggs? You adding that
Well,
just
it's
to
in,
bait?
it's in all of our oils already,
So you're
so
good.
you really don't need to. I mean, you can. I mean, if you're doing the powdered brine, that's why we're selling the UV liquid, because there's no UV in the powdered brine. And our powdered dyes there's not. So that's why we want the liquid UV. So guys can take they're using the powdered brine for the herring or anchovies, they can put that in that brine and turn them.
and we sell a line of ProCure UV.
Yeah.
It's this cure with UV in it. We sell it that way if somebody wants to use it. That's personal preference.
You talked about one time, you talked about since you put that UV in your baits, like you had a tip, I think on the last live feed we talked about. It was super important to watch. And it was not making sure, like, when you're baiting the eggs and you do the egg loop through the eggs.
And you run up the leader. Right?
Yep.
In the old days, we used to take the different scents and rub it up the leader. And I was ice fishing, vertical jigging, very little current. And they had their lights set up and our sonar set up. And after 10 minutes, I could see my line on their machine. It's like, holy crud. So we removed the UV from all of our ice fishing gels. There is no, you're not trolling because they're all froze up. So it's a vertical jig.
Mm-hmm.
And we make sure and we tell everybody, do not rub up the leader, right?
And so that's something to watch for when you add UV to any of these other baits. Like you said, there's no UV in
Correct.
this guy, but you do make a UV line of the ProCures.
Correct.
And and just because of the way people use egg loops,
yeah,
when you pull that line up, you have egg on that part of the line. It's probably real imperative that you clean that off and make sure to keep that part.
And that little much isn't going to hurt you, but when a guy's going 18 inches up his leader,
yeah,
that's really going to hurt you.
Yeah, so to keep that stealth, especially in some of these fisheries where your vertical presentation, you're under a bobber, you're hovering, you're probably there's pressure, there's other people.
Yeah. Sure. Oh,
and it's surprising how much, under a black light, that UV, it glows. There is no question.
How long do eggs last not frozen? Cured eggs, that's what people are asking.
Cured eggs?
I don't like it. I personally don't like them once they're thawed out. I don't like them after a month, personally. But
Yeah, 'cause they start deteriorating in the refrigerator.
Personally.
So you're better off to freeze them. Once they're cured, if you're not going to truly fish, or put them up in pint containers and freeze them all, date them, and you can write down what you cured them with.
freezing in Ziplocs?
I don't like to.
No, because
Your eggs.
I don't like to either, but I've done it before, and I've heard a lot of other experienced fishermen say do not freeze them in
no,
Ziplocs.
because somebody's going to cram stuff in your freezer, something hard, smash all your berries. Because once they're cured, they truly don't freeze. So you're better off in a hard container, or even we sell a plastic pint and quart containers. That way they're not going to get crushed.
I do on steelhead eggs. I'll put them in Ziplocs because I'm filling them with borax. So I gotta they're encased in borax.
Yep. That actually is the only eggs I have frozen right now is borax eggs.
Yeah. And I encase them in borax because in the winter, borax is nice because when you're dealing with it, your hands stay cleaner and it's easier to deal with.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't have as many additives, correct?
Yeah.
For steelhead egg.
Yeah.
Out of all these cures here, what is the good question, by the way? What is the hottest cure? So the guys fishing way up, late. What's your hottest cure?
Oh, the hottest cure would be the fuse.
Fuse.
And the second hottest would be the wizard.
Yeah.
So fuse is hotter than wizard.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's different. It is
The salmon.
The wizard has the metabisulfite in it, and the fuse does not. And
What's
the
the fuse
metabisulfite.
Just kidding.
So, but there's
my favorite part of the curing the eggs is opening the jar and
this has a lot more sodium
Got
sulfite
your
in it,
tongue.
though. That one does have a lot more sodium sulfite in it.
Now, the salmon blend's about a third sodium sulfite.
Yeah.
Right? The steelhead is way down.
Yeah.
But the wizard is pretty close, but that's still hotter.
Yeah, so because with fuse, you have a salmon and a steelhead.
Correct.
Yeah.
But with red hot, you don't have a steelhead. Why not?
Because, I read the same articles you read where everybody says salmon or steelhead don't like the sulfites. Yeah. There's been millions of fish caught on the ProCure Red Hot Double stuff over the years. It's not a super heavy sulfite cure, but other than Sure Cure a few years ago, every commercial cure was a sulfite-based cure. So yeah, they eat it. I mean, I read the same things, and they kind
I've
of
caught
believable.
thousands of steelhead on freaking red hot
Yeah,
coals
yeah.
eggs. Now I don't cure them heavy. I don't go nuts on them, but I do
sure.
it enough. I
Oh,
follow the
okay.
process, make sure it's nice and clean,
Yeah.
and then or make sure nice and clean, make sure it's just really light, just make sure it's cured all the way.
Sure.
After that, don't. There you go.
And that's
So,
another
if-
thing too with this. With this, you can be a little more liberal with the cure on the Wizard with that metabisulfite in it.
It's gonna burn.
Go light
Sure.
because
Don't
if
mess
you
up with that
overdo it,
stuff.
they're going to go rock
It's 3
hard.
times hotter.
Yeah.
Now, this did not have sodium sulfite in it. These would be turning really dark. Okay, after 2 years, they'll just get ugly on you. But the sodium sulfite's a color lock. So once you dye a light red or a bright red or whatever color you've got, it maintains that color until you use it all up or throw it away. So the sodium sulfite is a necessary product in the cures because after a year, they're going to get really goofy on your colors. So you want that in there. And like I said, I wouldn't go extra heavy with the sodium sulfite, but lots of
Steelhead
have been
will
caught.
still mop them up.
Yes, they will.
And
they-
I've always thought that was.
back to the time in the fridge thing.
Mhm.
I don't know if a lot of times when they do sit in there past that month and you go to use them, you'll notice when you go to cut them, they got that goopy consistency.
Mhm.
And then you put them on and you go to cast them and then
Little
the
white
berries
spots.
fall
Yeah.
out and that just
Little
leaves
white
that
spots.
Not
stringy, crappy eggs. It just, I don't care what cure you
And
use,
they
they
smell
all do
different.
that.
Yeah.
And they smell different.
Yeah.
Yep. They smell gamier or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Freeze 'em.
explain it.
Once they're cured, you're not hardening them in any way, shape, or form. Just freeze them. Unless you're going to use them the next 2 or 3 days or 4 days.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a while, yeah, you're better off putting them in the freezer.
Yeah. Or just, the best thing to do is just use them up.
Go fish.
Well, we all don't have that liberty
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
so.
Oh, I can't wait for the fall.
Yeah.
I can just think of the 30 pounds of eggs in my fridge right now.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, I was gonna say we should probably get another contest going
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Pump it out, share it out. But don't forget photos, or don't let me forget the photos.
Yeah, let's run.
Yeah.
So here, how about this? Let's since we got Steve and Jason in here, guys, let's get a few more of your guys' questions. If you guys have them, fire them up there while we run through some of these photos, and then we'll do our next giveaway pack, which has some bloody tuna super gel, some salmon slammer, some garlic bait sauce, and some hand soap. All absolutely awesome products that I use just about every day. So let's run through some of our viewer photos that were sent in here real quick, and then ask any other questions that we got. Let's go.
All right.
We got.
Hang on.
Oh, geez, fail.
No.
Ooh, rainbow trout time. Who's this?
Dervish.
Dervish. Looks a little cold where Dervish is fishing.
That's a dandy.
It's a fatty little chunk though. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Griffin.
Nice.
Are there any of those around? Nice steelhead, man.
Joshua.
Oh, look at that! Some coho action there. Nice fish, Joshua.
Mark.
I know where that picture was taken, Mark. That's a nice fish. Nice summer.
Zip zip.
I know where that picture was taken too. Who's that?
This is Mark.
Oh, Mark too. Oh yeah. Okay, now it all puts it all together.
That's a chunk.
That is a freaking slab, dude.
That's a good one.
Mike.
Mike, nice fish. Foggy.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's at. It got downriggers on.
The pop-off glove.
Pop-off glove. That's right. That's right.
This is the Partney family.
Dude, that is a haul. Sakis. Don't it look like Sakis?
With the rocking the huge addicted sticker.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. That's a cool shot. Looks like a good time there.
Same thing. Same family. Partney.
Yeah, yeah.
You're getting in them.
This is Ryan.
Nice Truder there.
Tammy.
Nice.
Another nice trout. A lot of trout guys out there.
Zach.
A couple stud kingers there. Nice fish, Zach. fishes.
Last
Fishies.
one, Zach.
Zach with another. Look at blackmouth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good
Maybe
picture.
a little saltier king there. Look awesome, man.
Good job on the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah, very good picture.
like it. Very cool. Well, thanks, guys, for sending those in. Send those in every week to orders.
Yep.
Orders at addicted.fishing. We'll get your picture up here. Always adds a nice little element. Like to see you guys out there whacking fish and kicking ass. Let's see here. What's your number one coon shrimp cure?
The shrimp and prawn cure.
Yeah, we only have really one.
Yeah.
So that would be the shrimp and prawn cure. And there's two ways you can do it. You can do it dry.
Let me back up real fast. So they make a shaker bottle
Yes, sir.
with, okay, shrimp and prawn cure.
And so you can do a dry shake to it,
Mhm.
and that will, on the outside, will crust it firm up, the coon shrimp. But it's best to liquefy it. Put 3 ounces of the shrimp and prawn cure to a pound of bait. Shake it up well, and put your baits in. And with a good seal on your container, it's going to be a 3-day process. Where you put it in the fridge, turn it upside down,
Mhm.
right? Each morning when you get up, just rotate it around because the chemicals will settle down in the bottom. And so you can't shake it because they're really fragile. So if you have a straw and you want, or latex tubing, you can blow air into it to get everything back up. Or like I said, you can just lightly tumble it around. And like I said, just, start on face side up. Then you can go, upside down and do that just a couple times through the day.
Rotate it through.
Yeah. And the end of the 3rd day, put them in a colander, let it drip off any excess juice. If need be, put a light fan to them, and that'll firm them right up.
That's all you need.
That's it.
You guys make 3 different colors in that too.
Yeah, so there's a natural, there's an orange, and then the red.
I do like the red. Best scent for coho. Coho are tricky little
They
bastards,
are.
aren't they?
Sand shrimp and krill. I would
Yeah.
say.
I mean, it
The
changes.
shrimpy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, shrimpy stuff.
Twitching jig is the best thing.
That is wild. The tail out twitcher makes a mighty fine scent. Yeah,
In a bag of krill powder.
that is absolutely the beauty
This is
thing.
for the twitching jigs. This water soluble
Yes.
sense works really
Totally.
well.
That's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially on the dirty rivers.
No, for sure. That is on point. Because that's the ultimate answer.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Are they all in spray bottles now?
Yes.
There we go.
Which may have been a bad move on our part because usually people spill half the bottle when they spray.
Yeah, no kidding, guy. You got a little.
Yeah. No, it's in the backpack. That's where it all goes.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the most informative feeds ever. Thank you so much. So much to learn. Thank you, TJ. Yeah, it's always good getting these guys in. We need to get them in a little more often. Let's see here. Anything else?
Jordan's son fish off.
I wasn't going to entertain that anymore. I don't know if that's offense to Colt or Jordan. Yeah.
I got a son and a stepson.
Oh, let's touch on that real fast because we didn't touch on it at all. Hot cures versus sweet cures for upriver or tidewater. We'll go to this egg curing 201 class real quick for you guys and let you guys hammer on that real fast, and then we're gonna pick a winner, and then we're gonna let these guys go. So get your questions in while you can.
The further the fish get from salt, generally they want a little bit hotter cure. The closer they are to salt, generally a little sweeter cure. More sugar, less chemicals, seems to be more productive. Like on the Last Supper, we do a 2 different formulas. We do an inland formula and we do a coastal formula.
Okay, so you got inland, upriver here, and the coastal.
No, I got a question. What is far from the coast? Because I feel like some of the rivers that Cameron and I fish are not far from the coast. But hotter than hot cure wrecks them.
Yeah.
I've had
But they do at the
I've
coast,
had
too.
Pop-off come in my boat with eggs that are more developed than mine.
Yeah.
That have been fished longer and put his away after 10 minutes because they were not producing like my eggs were. But how far is far from the coast?
If
My
it's
question.
affected by the tide, so like up to Bonneville on down, like on the Columbia, you would want a milder cure. I mean, you can try a little step. If you're a mile from Bonneville, you can try But usually, the rule of thumb is if it's affected by the tide, you want a milder cure.
Okay.
But there's the bigger variable to that is how long have those fish been hanging there?
Sure, that's right.
Because you can have tidewater sections where fish
Yeah.
can be
For months.
darkening,
Yeah.
and they can stay there, especially early last fall where we didn't have any water. And then we had all the water in the world we wanted, and it was great because the fish could go do whatever. And we'd catch fish up way past tidewater with sea lice on it on certain cures, but you wouldn't catch other ones. And so you
and
got to play. It's not so much.
Don't take it to the bank. Just
Let's
go
just say
there
it's
with a
not
selection
that
of cures.
cut and dry. It's not like 60 river miles,
Right.
and you better have
Yeah.
hot cure.
If you
You
can
got to understand your
have an
fish and
assortment.
your timing.
yeah,
That's
and
right.
have an assortment.
Yeah, we've got 4 to 6 different egg cures.
And could that
Just
change
because-
due to water level and
Oh.
weather conditions?
Sure.
Like,
Timing.
Temperature, we
Everything.
got.
yeah, like a big water rise, sweeter cure. Low, clear, shitty water,
I've-
go with a hotter cure.
It's just it's day to day. There's literally, I mean, there's days up in the gorge where this cure I have that I use a lot, I'll use that for 5 straight days and just be whacking them, and then all of a sudden I can't get bit.
I've got a story.
It's-
I've got a story that I gotta tell on that because it's on the old My River, and I was out 3 days, 4 days in a row, and I was just giving it to him. Good fishing, great egg bite, great fishing, great fishing. So confident in the morning I was to load my freezer or load my eggs up for the day. I literally you know what? I just need that one cure.
Hmm.
And I go up to a very popular spot back when I thought I had to fish it. But anyways, it's been a popular spot. Showed up with that egg cure, and I had this big California fishing club, which I've had now for like 10 years. They come up spend weeks with me. But this was the first day I had this, and this is like probably 10, 12 years ago. This was a while back. I show up, oh, here we go. We're going to get them, guys. And I sit there and I dunk those freaking eggs all morning, and I watch 50
Yeah.
Chinook get caught around me, and
Yeah.
I don't anything.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I'm throwing scent at it, but what happened was I didn't have the right chemical
Base.
composition.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, it's like 10:30, and this was like the most humbling experience
oh yeah.
probably I've ever had in my
On camera.
18 years of guiding. But at that time, at that moment, it was the most.
Yeah.
And so we go up on shore, and I had a deckhand, and I had a high school kid working for me. I'm like,
You had a deckhand.
no. I jump up on the bank, and I'm like, and I go grab my truck and trailer. I don't care, the trailer's still hooked to it. Drive home. We went for a lunch break, thank God. Go home. Get this jar, this jar, this jar, this jar, this jar. Come back.
Yeah.
Right? And so we go back into the hole, and by then everyone cleared out because everyone got their fish, and there's still hundreds of fish laying in there. And I'm like, okay, you do this egg cure, this egg cure. I put one on my egg cure, and I put one on my bait. Drop it down, I'll talk and look. I drop it down, and it's like, oh, got him.
Yeah.
Instantaneous fish right there. Put him on there. I had a bite all morning, and I watched 50 fish caught. Lord, no, I'm probably more.
That's frustrating.
Whack, hook the fish. I hand it to the guy. I go, reel in all your rods. While he's fighting the fish in the back, I'm running around throwing that bait on, and I'm like, screw it. Drop off the bow. We got time to make up here. Guy drops off the bow. Before I even net that fish, he drops down. What? Next guy. What? And we start hanging Chinook.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't think that you need to have that right composition, or if you think that one egg is going to work for you all season,
It
Yeah.
is.
every
Okay.
time for 4 months, you
Yeah.
are in la la land. Or you have the best egg cure known man that I don't
Sure.
Yeah.
think anybody knows about yet.
They don't exist.
They don't exist. Okay, I'm just saying, like, it's
Yeah.
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And I got my. Don't get me wrong. Like, I went the next day. I had, I think, probably 6 different egg cures, every scent bottle, coolers and shit in my boat. Like, I was not gonna let that happen again.
Yeah.
But it can happen. It was
That's
pretty
frustrating
amazing.
when that does happen.
Oh my god, I was beside myself.
Every year we get a couple days like that.
Yeah.
up in the gorge.
We get a couple days up there hover fishing where we just something's gone south, right? And we're
Yeah.
not getting bit the way we should.
The program hasn't. You're not part of the program. The
Yeah.
fish are on.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's the worst.
Good stuff. All right. Let's see here. Anything
Pick a
else?
winner.
Yeah, let's pick a winner. Anything else you guys want to add while we
No, I
pick
mean,
an winner? We thank you guys for coming. I saw a lot of people saying love the super feed or love the live feed, and we need to get you guys again. Maybe a little more egg curing, and next time we'll have some fresh eggs. Maybe we can we get you guys in late September maybe, and
Yeah.
sure.
we'll bring some fresh eggs from the river and maybe walk through some of these processes, maybe end of September, early October.
Okay, we get guys that call into the office asking questions, and we'll spend 15 or 20 minutes with them, walk them through it, or show them the tips and hints video on our site.
Yep.
So, that's pretty rare for the owners of the company to take time out, right, and dial them in, and we'll do that all day long.
Yep.
So,
You
will
guys have
usually-
always been approachable. You guys are masters at the craft. I mean, so you want people to catch fish and have a good time.
That's
There's
right.
lots of fish out there.
That's right.
That's
Catch
very
it.
cool.
Go fish.
We've got our winner right here. Matt Saylor. Is a hotter cure better or worse? What's the difference? I think we touched on that. Thanks for the question. We do appreciate it. But Matt, congratulations. You won this scent pack here with the hand soap. Please email orders@addicted.fishing and tell us what you won. You won the Pro Cure prize pack number 2. I'll even write that on there and include your address in the email. Saw a question on there, and I've done it. But do you guys ever use DMSO?
We've tried it. Not a fan of it.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
What is
thought-
it?
It is.
It's sort of what a DMSO is as a pharmaceutical thing. So like if you have an ailing, you can get it from like your smaller pharmacy where you put on your wrist. It will absorb medicines to allow into your bloodstream or into your ligaments, and so guys have tried that on baits, trying to get them to absorb in. No, you're better off to inject your baits with
I've watched guys spray starter fluid on their stuff.
Okay, that
I've
works.
watched- yeah,
That
I've
works.
watched all
Starter
kinds of,
fluid works.
Yeah, I've watched all kinds of different.
I don't
things.
care what anybody says.
Listen,
I was gonna say, yeah, Don. I used to have the can of ether,
Yeah,
and I mean, you sit there and
What
like you
about
said,
PB Blaster?
you watch. I haven't tried PB Blast, but
I
I've
feel
tried.
like that
I've
stuff would work.
I've tried like Hoppies, Rem Oil. I've gone through all the cleaning stuff. Oh man, I've thrown so much shit in the water. I tell you what.
What about
But
Dr.
no.
Pepper?
It's illegal now, people.
Yeah, I
No,
was
it's
saying,
Yeah.
you can't do it anymore.
Yes.
But But DMSO is a weird. It's got a weird smell, and like if you get it on your like
you can
hands
taste it.
right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it
don't-
absorbs in through your skin. So
Yeah.
that way, ideally, what
Hell
it's
is this
designed
stuff?
for is for pharmaceutical use.
Yeah.
So it's like a cream, but you put that on, and then you put something to get in to soothe your aching joints. And guys that put that on their herring and anchovy and then put scent on, feeling that it'll absorb through better. And we've tried it, and I can't tell you it does any better than just injecting it.
Yeah, I've caught fish on it, like dipping it in the goop and stuff.
Yeah.
But
But then, like, not to where I thought that
Made a
made
big
a difference,
difference.
and
Yeah.
it wasn't just the eggs to begin with.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I'd stay away from it. It's kind of weird.
It's so
It
weird.
is weird.
Starting. What else have you guys? So you guys have heard just before we go here. Strangest stuff, like you talking about starting fluid, DMSO, like anything else, just like oddball. You got to have something.
Well, I mean, there's guys who use a preparation H, right?
Okay, preparation H. Yeah,
Toothpaste.
yeah.
Yeah.
Toothpaste.
Toothpaste. I mean, all
Toothpaste.
kinds of weird.
Yeah.
I just tell them, match the hatchet. They're feeding on shrimp, use shrimp. If they're feeding on krill, use krill. I just say,
They aren't feeding on anything.
Oh, correct.
Yeah. If you're a flosser, put toothpaste on it. There you go.
That's all you need is a black cork.
It is a black cork.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Oh, that's right. All the fish in Seattle are addicted to meth now. Just kidding. No, it's only legal in Portland. Anyways. All right. Good stuff,
That's a
guys.
great way to end it.
That's we're out of here. It's going downhill. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming in.
Thanks for
Let's
having
get you guys in for some egg prepping, curing. Pretty much appreciate you guys getting out here. And if you guys are out there, don't forget, buy your egg cures, get your brine and bites, catch a bunch of fish. We'll see you guys out there.
thank you.